All right, GladrapChannel, you're with Paul McSharry, the president of the Auckland Boxing Association. How you doing, Gra?
Very good, thank you. Gladrap?
Yeah, so I guess just to tell the people who you are a bit, just for people that don't know you.
The current president of the Auckland Boxing Association. I've been with the ABA probably the best part of 25 years, and I'm not going anywhere soon.
And you also were a fighter, right?
Yeah, I boxed for 20 years and been an administrator and an official for the last 25 years.
And what was your record, as a fighter, if you can recall that?
I don't think that everybody needs to know it, but I had 122 fights. I lost 13.
That's amazing, man. Who's like one of the top names you fought in your career?
Look, it's not apples for apples. I had 105 fights by the time I was 17. So I lost 9 fights in my first 20. I didn't lose again until 15 years later when I come back to boxing. Not a 15-year gap, but probably a 6 or 7 year gap. So I lost 4 in my last 17 fights, so there's my 13 out of 122.
So you started off with a bad start, though, did you?
Well, I lost 9 in my first 20, and then I won 89 in a row.
I guess my question is, what made you keep going?
I was winning.
Okay, no, I mean for the first 9,
Oh, my brother's boxed, 9 losses in 20 fights isn't a bad thing. It's better than 50-50. Yeah, so boxing's what I did. I loved it from the time I started. I still love it now. I'm involved as much as I can be, and that's what I do. It's who I am.
And what does it mean to you to be the president of the ABA? I mean, does that bring you satisfaction, like just to still be with the sport?
Being president of the ABA is a job that I hid away from for a good part of 25 years. I was just a follower on the committee. I voted accordingly to what my conscience told me. But now I've got to the age where I've got no choice but to be responsible for the association and all its members. So that means all the boxers from the age of 9 or 10 years of age up and through the professionals, all the coaches, all the corporate boxers, and anybody who's a stakeholder of the Auckland Boxing Association. I'm responsible for them, and I guess they're the future of boxing in Auckland, and somebody's got to do it, and I can't keep trying to hide from the job. So here I am. So this is my 2nd year doing it. It's a lot of work, but I'm prepared to do it for the game, because I wouldn't know what else to do.
Yeah, can you talk a bit more about the work? Like, is it intensive? Are you here every week?
Well, don't tell my boss, but yeah, I spend a lot of time here. I work for Sky Television. That's been my employer for 25, 26 years, and I've been lucky that they embrace the sport of boxing. They know that I'm tied up with it. The CEO and my direct boss knows that I do spend a bit of time with boxing, and so I'm fortunate enough to have the I guess that autonomy to make decisions, whether it comes to my work or with boxing, and so yeah, I make it work.
Now recently, boxing has been through the ringer. A lot of criticism, I mean, from different media outlets. What do you think? Do you think it's fair? Do you think they have any merit to it?
Whenever people get hurt, of course it's going to be highlighted in the media. What we can do as a sport, this is not just a corporate boxing issue, it's a boxing issue. What we can do as a sport is make sure that all the sanctioning bodies are in agreement with, I guess, a blueprint for going forward, ensuring that all our rules are the same, the regulations are the same, what criteria we put around corporate boxing in order for an event, a venue like the ABA, to allow it to be held. And so we can't save all the dangers from boxing, but what we can do is to be seen to be doing the right thing, putting some safety measures in place so that if a boxer gets knocked out or a boxer gets hurt, that every safety precaution is there. I wouldn't say that boxing is a dangerous sport, but it certainly is a risky sport. If you're taught properly and you condition yourself well, you'll always come out there with no problems. So it's up to the individuals and the coaches to make sure that the boxer is ready, is conditioned and ready for the rigours of a boxing fight.
I think just a couple of weeks ago, you went to the funeral of Lucy Brown. How did that happen? A sparring session?
Look, Lucy Brown, I've never met Lucy Brown, but she had started training at one of the Auckland Boxing Association affiliated clubs, which was the Wellsford Boxing Club, and she'd been training for a month. She was obviously had some experience. She'd come over from Australia, was now residing in New Zealand. She'd done a few training sessions. Nothing was out of the ordinary. It wasn't hard sparring. She didn't get beaten up by heavier boxers or boxers with better ability. It was sparring, and it's controlled sparring. And I don't know all the facts, but for me, it was, as I understand it, she just after the sparring, she just overcooked and went downhill from there, and was airlifted to Auckland Hospital, where she later died. Later on that night, I was here for a corporate event, a pro-corporate event, and a corporate boxer, Joel Ray, got knocked out cold. And it was at that point I realised I've got to do something about this. This is the Auckland Boxing Association venue. I'm responsible for what goes on. One of my affiliated clubs, amateur boxers died, and at the venue, a corporate boxer was knocked out with the first punch of the fight. Something's not right. We need to get the boxing heads together and at least discuss what's happened with boxing, where it's going, what we're going to do to police it better, to make it safe as we possibly can, and that's what we've done today.
And today, the meeting was attended by some big names, a lot of people from the sanctioning bodies. I saw David Tua there, I saw Lance Revel, Isaac Peach, Grant Arknell. I mean, there were some big names. Did you feel it was a productive meeting? What do you feel you accomplished from today, just to get people together,
Well, I hope it wasn't just about me having an audience and talking to everybody. I think there was good contribution from everybody today. Shane Cameron, he rang me and said he'd like to be here because he runs corporate events. Unfortunately, he's away. He's not in Auckland at the moment, otherwise he would have been here as well. As far as what we succeeded in doing is that we, instead of just brushing things under the carpet, boxing is starting to talk about boxing, what our responsibilities are, making sure that the new coaches that come into our game are fit to be coaches, have some experience, or if they haven't got the experience, they're going to gain that experience, hopefully under some sort of mentorship with other coaches, and ensure that every boxer, whether it be amateur, corporate or professional, that steps into this ring is ready for the task ahead. And if we can do that, we won't, ideally, everybody will go in there, into the ring, and get out in the same condition.
When people think of regulations, they're like, oh man, extra rules, extra costs or whatnot. What do you have to say to people that are sort of thinking about, oh man, here we go, extra regulations?
Well, if you don't put those regulations in place, when somebody gets hurt, you're going to think, well, I wish I'd followed the regulations. I wish I had made sure that I'd dotted my I's and crossed my T's, because everything's fine until it's not fine. Boxing can't afford to have too many not fine days.
Does it affect you, like, after the Lucy Brown and then seeing the Joel Rhea? I mean, just thinking about it. Did you think about it?
No, I don't know either one of them. But at Lucy Brown's funeral, I had to get up and say things on behalf of the Auckland Boxing Association. I found that I was trying to defend boxing. I was trying to defend why I was involved with boxing, why I want to continue to be involved with boxing. Emotionally, it upset me. And like I said, I didn't know Lucy. I feel bad for her family, absolutely. But I feel bad for boxing too. In boxing, we can't have days like that. And my job is to make sure we don't have days like that.
I like the stance you took where you sort of, instead of trying to get everything, the regulation for everyone, you said we'll get the rules for us fixed here first. Like if you want to fight at the ABA, you got to follow these rules. Like you're sort of, trying to make trying to practice what you preach in a way.
Yeah, as president of the ABA, I can't ignore things. The ABA is not responsible when it hires out the venue to promoters. But when boxers get hurt at the ABA, everybody knows, it happened at the ABA, the Auckland Boxing Association. If people can't have, I guess, a measure of comfort in knowing that the Auckland Boxing Association are lax with their rules and regulations, then the ABA is going to suffer, Boxing New Zealand's going to suffer, all of boxing and every organisation is going to suffer. We've got to make sure that we are compliant with as much stuff as we can before somebody makes us. We've got to do it ourselves.
Do you think we're going to see like corporate boxing totally discarded, like totally banned, and it's just going to be pro-am, like just professional and amateurs, or do you just feel like just some more regulation needs to be put in place?
There'll be plenty of people out there that think corporate boxing should be banned. There's a lot of people involved in boxing, been involved with boxing for a long time, that think corporate boxing should be banned. Well, not the unfortunate thing, but the ABA relies on corporate boxing because it puts bums on seats. It brings out the general public that don't normally go to boxing, and the Horridge of the Hall and our bar takings is our cash flow. Without that, there will be no amateur boxing. There'll be no pro boxing. We need to foster boxing, whether it be amateur or pro. I've just spent best part of $35,000 sending an Auckland amateur boxing team to Christchurch for the Nationals. Now, that can only happen through promoters putting on events here at the ABA and their general admission customers using our bar. I guess that's a sad indictment, but there's no money coming from Sport New Zealand to boxing. Certainly some of our high performance boxers may get some sort of funding, but boxing itself has to fund itself, and we do that here at the ABA. We have a license, we follow all the rules, and by having cash flow, that means we can operate and assist our amateur boxers for travel, for training, for whatever we need to do to foster boxing. That's what I'm here for, and I can't do that with no money. Unless, Bob Jones wants to give me $1 million, corporate boxing is the way forward for the ABA.
What about just the media, especially like the Herald, sort of almost have an agenda against boxing, like, because all sports are dangerous in a way. Like, there's been deaths in cricket, rugby league, basketball. I mean, all sports are dangerous in a way. But do you feel like maybe the media's been particularly a little bit unfair towards boxing? Maybe an agenda, like they've been sort of targeting Isaac Peach and sort of. He made some comments which I think they might have been spinning it a bit, but I mean, what's your opinion?
Look, I'll just touch on Isaac Peach. Isaac said that he didn't care about corporate boxing. That's what he meant, was he's got amateurs in his gym and he's got professionals in his gym and he doesn't have time to spend on corporate boxing, right? He has promoted corporate boxing in the past, but he stopped doing that now. It's because corporate boxing doesn't rock his boat, all right? But he has his brother and other coaches in that gym that are putting time into those boxers. So I think that the media probably did take it like he was very blasé or flippant about corporate boxing when he wasn't. It was his boxer or his gym's boxer that got hurt, in Joel Ray. But he was saying on a personal level, he doesn't buy into it, but he has coaches there that were doing so. And I think that might have answered your question. I can't remember what else we're
just saying about other sports as well being dangerous, equally dangerous as well.
Oh yeah, look, they say that the objective of boxing is to finish the fight in the shortest possible time. Yeah, it is. We'd like to think that everybody gets matched accordingly, and if they're both taught well, then it's a good contest. That's what we want to see. Professional boxing, we all like the knockouts, but you'd hope that the boxers themselves are professional, ready for the rigours inside the ring, and just bad luck, or they just weren't good enough on the day. Just with other sports, well, it's just easier to pick on boxing because of its objective. But I've boxed since the age of 7 years of age. I was 2 stone, 2 pound when I started, and I boxed basically all my life. I've never been hurt because I believe I was taught properly. And that's my stance when I worry about people getting hurt. Yep, there's more punch-drunk soccer players per capita than what there is boxing. But yeah, you have your injuries, you have your fatalities, as you do in all sports. All we can do is make it as safe as we can, and the reason for us being proactive is to make sure that we can protect the sport from people that don't understand it.
Well, one of the things discussed at the meetings was it looks like the headgear is going to be compulsory. What do you say about people that think, look, headgear has been taken out of the Olympics? So, what about that general argument that you're going to be exposed to?
Okay. Well, the Olympics is run by bureaucrats, not boxing coaches. All right? ABA. So, insofar as headgear does not stop you if somebody can knock you out. All right? It doesn't help you. But what it does do is it stops that bone-on-bone head clashes. It may help you if you do get knocked out and your head hits the canvas. All right? There's cushioning there. The reason why they don't wear headgear in the Olympics is not because some doctor or scientist has said that headgear does not save concussions. They've taken it off because it's for TV. That's it. For TV. That's why there's no headgear on at the Olympics. I defy anybody to try to prove me otherwise. Headgear stops the head clashes. Headgear stops the cuts. Without headgear, you're at risk to all that sort of stuff, and continual clashing of heads is not good for you long term. So, yeah, I accept that professional boxing doesn't need headgear. Corporate boxers, you're not an amateur and you're not a professional. You're in the middle. You're just wanting to show your mates that you can fight. Okay, that's fine, but we're going to make sure that you get fit, that you've been coached well, and that you're wearing the right protective gear. So the days of it being voluntary as to whether you wear headgear and a singlet is gone. Now it's mandatory, just like wearing your protector or your ball guard and your mouth guard. Your headgear and a singlet will be mandatory. It's a little thing that we can change to at least be seen to be doing the right thing.
Some of the other things discussed were perhaps like a logbook, where the different sanctioning bodies register the corporate fighters.
Yeah, look, that will take a little bit of work, and I'm happy to deal with, I think, Benji Watt on that, and I'm happy to talk with all the sanctioning bodies about what we can do about some sort of registration, so we know how many bouts people have had. We've been told today there's been corporate boxers that have had 8 bouts and 10 bouts. Well, they're not corporate boxers, right? They are putting others at risk. When they've had that many bouts, they're pretty well conditioned to getting in that ring, right? And they're hopping in there with novices. So by having some type of registration, knowing how many fights people have had and how they've got on, that's going to help the boxing authorities, it's going to help the officials, it's going to help the ABA, knowing that we've got everything ticked off as being appropriate.
And the registered fighters, the registered trainers and coaches?
That could be happening as well. It's going to take a bit of time.
Yeah. I guess my question is...
We want to know who these coaches are as well.
Yeah.
And
Whether they're good men.
If I don't know them, then they ain't coaches, are they?
Yeah. You've been in the game.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, there were so many productive points raised by so many different people in there. I guess what now? Like, what do you do going forward? You collate all the points together and you spread it, or what's next?
Look, I've just got to document it, get it out to the people that need to see it, and then we'll take it from there.
And I guess a final message, just to people that love boxing. What would you like to say?
Keep coming to the ABA because amateur boxing relies on it, and hopefully soon we'll be promoting or helping to promote some professional belts with some amateurs on it. So some pro-ams will be coming back to the ABA.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Paul McSharry, and keep up the great work that you do. And all the fans are very grateful to you and the community as well. I know you don't get thanked a lot, but I just like to say on behalf of everyone, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gladrap.
Boom.